We grew up on mixtapes and neon.
Hey there, everybody. It is the GlobeTrotting Trio. I'm Amy.
I'm Shelley.
I'm Tammy.
And we are excited to be here. So last week we talked a lot about how we grew up and how our lives back then were kind of like not digital at all, right? We were pretty much just kind of like nostalgia in its best, thinking about all of the great things that we did without any kind of technology. Um, But let's talk a little bit about our kids. Our kids, and they call them the digital natives, right? So most of our children grew up or were born in the era of when those computers were coming out. Cell phones were here, and we had, the AOL dial-up even, right? So, and now we've got high-speed internet, and we have Wi-Fi, and we have all of those things. So think about this. We grew up on dial-up, meaning that we had to call, right? If we needed to do anything. Now we have people sharing videos on a phone, on TikTok, right? It's a completely different era. We listen to tape, me, so I had 8-track.
8-track.
Yes.
Then cassette.
And then cassette, and you had an adapter where you could put a cassette into an
Yes.
8-track to put in there, so you didn't have to get a whole new thing. But now they've got live streaming, right?
Right.
I've heard somebody talk about why we are so upset as a Gen Xer. It's because we had music on 8-tracks, we had music on cassettes, we had music on CDs, we had
and vinyl.
oh yeah, records, then CDs, and then we had the little MP3 players that we had to download. And then we had, and then
iPods.
and now all of a sudden we have it's all readily available, right?
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Stream it on Spotify or whatever, Pandora, whatever it is that we use. We can find them on YouTube. We can have all of the access. So we've just had to update our music collection too many times.
That's right. That's why we're an angry group, right?
I completely related to them because so I know we're not talking about us, but let me just say this. Do you remember the Columbia House?
Yes.
Yes. How many
Yes.
times did you order either cassette tapes or CDs for a penny and never order another thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think would happen if we put our children back in our time? What do you think would happen?
My oldest would be okay. He's pretty darn resourceful. And because I had him when I was so young, he was still influenced by some of that.
Okay.
My second oldest, he'd be okay. He's just kind of a turd. The younger ones, it would be interesting. It would be very interesting to see how they function.
Yeah, for sure, wouldn't it? Yeah.
How about yours, Tammy?
Well, 16-year-old, so he wouldn't even know what to do. He really wouldn't. He microwave stuff. I mean, we didn't have a microwave. I didn't have a microwave until I was a teenager. So
right.
He wouldn't know. He wouldn't even know how to eat.
It's interesting, Tammy, as you say that. I think, I think about what other influences though, or like on my kids, right? You're saying like he just microwaves everything. You didn't have a microwave until you were a teenager. My kids also grew up with my grandma though. Like my grandma was 97 when she passed. So she was alive for like the majority of their childhood. And she still had the dial TV with the bunny ears, and she still had a rotary phone on her wall.
My God.
They had some exposure to that, but it would still be interesting to see how they would function on a daily basis. It would be very comical.
Yeah, that's funny.
I wish we could do something like that. So none of my children grew up with anybody that had any of those things. Like my mom still had she was the big screen TV. She had all this stuff. She had a telephone that had the base, the removable one that you could use. But she didn't have the rotary phone and all that. That would be really interesting. It'd be nice if we could do that.
Maybe that's our next business venture, ladies. Maybe we, you know, build something like an old experience and people like get locked in there, and an escape room. Maybe it's an escape room, something along
Escape
those
room
lines. Like they pay to
from
come
the
and stay there
70s.
and they have to
Yeah.
function like
Yeah.
as in the 80s.
Oh, we should do that, like a bed and breakfast kind of thing. That would be
Oh,
so
now
Yes.
we're
much
Oh,
talking.
fun.
that would be fun.
That
So
would be a blast.
I got a rotary like phone at a yard sale one time because it was like really old one, not just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I brought it home and MJ's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a phone. He's like, what are you talking about? And I showed him. I said, you dial the number. And like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like,
Mhm.
ah.
All right. So I don't know that they could probably live without Wi-Fi for any extended period of time. Now, I know
Yeah.
I've taken my kids on cruises and things like that, and they've survived and not had any big
Right.
issues without having any Wi-Fi. But
But how many of us, like, I mean, that's how we work, right? That's how the three of us work. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you pay your bills now. Like, it would be
Right.
really hard to be a functioning member of society without Wi-Fi now.
yeah,
Oh, I mean, seriously, I don't know what I did. I mean, Chat GPT is like the newest thing, and I don't even know how I existed without it. I mean, seriously,
I know.
nuts.
I'm telling you, it's my BFF now.
It is. It's my BFF. I'm
All
like,
right, but speaking of the Chat GPT, the Mr. Chat GPT, let's think of this. When I first started in education, so I was an
Mhm.
older person, like I did everything backwards. I went and had a career in insurance, then I went and had a career in this, that, and the other. I then moved into and I went to school and became a teacher. And my very first job at a school it was my high school that I graduated from. And I was going to be in the library, and I was so excited because my favorite thing, like if you've listened to previous podcasts, reading was my thing whenever I was a kid. I loved to read. So I knew how to find anything and everything in that card in index, right? And I loved that. I loved being able to pull that long drawer out and find the
yeah,
card that went with the book and then go find the book. I loved that. The
uh-huh.
card catalog was
I
amazing, right?
bet you
Uh-huh.
did. Yes.
How many of us learned our organizational skills or developed our organizational skills because we were introduced to the card
Yeah.
catalog?
Yeah.
True, true.
Our library here in town is a private library, and they still have a card catalog. It's built into the wall.
Yeah.
So all of their drawers come out of the wall. And I showed it to our grandkids last summer. So we go and get books like all the time every time they're here. So last summer we went up, and I remember Thea going, oh, like her face, she was like, oh, what is this? Like, it was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
I was devastated though when I went to work there. The card catalog was gone. They moved it.
Aw.
It's all online now. So when I come to see you, Shelley, you're going to
We'll have
take
to
me
go
to the
see one.
library.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
take me to
Yes.
the library. So now,
so
if
cool.
you were to ask any of our kids to go find me a book
Mm-hmm.
about pirates
Mm-hmm.
that lived in the Caribbean in the 1600s, and they couldn't use Wi-Fi to find out. They couldn't search on their phone. They had to go into a library. They had to go to Shelley's library and find that book. Do you
Right.
think we could do it?
I think MJ could get close. I don't think he could do it all the way, but he could get close.
Okay.
And then
Close
he would
because
have to,
they have the categories, right? On the top
Right.
of the bookshelf.
yeah. But I mean, he would probably have to ask somebody for the rest.
Right. So
Mhm.
what about if you were doing a research paper with some students, and there are students, and we said, I need you to find everything you can about the history of cars, but you can't use any any electronics to find it,
They wouldn't even know what an encyclopedia was.
right?
Mm-mm. They don't
So,
know what that is. It's Google now. It's not an encyclopedia.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Just
where we
Google
got
it.
our
Just Google it.
information.
But that's one of those things. The joke on the teachers, right? You remember back in the day, whenever we used to have teachers that say you won't have a calculator ready, so you need to know your facts.
Yes.
You won't have
Yeah.
a calculator, you won't have this, you won't have that, and now we have it all
On my phone.
in one little device.
Yep.
So, do you think that we have lost the act or the art of teaching critical thinking skills?
Oh God,
Absolutely.
yes. I'm like, that one
Absolutely.
was like real. Like, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that is true because there's no like, and I feel like that's kind of where it taught me to look in the future. I'm gonna look at the next thing, the next thing, the next thing,
Mm.
because of me having to
Mhm.
go search and find things and do stuff on my
Mhm.
own. And whenever we did the research problems or we did this or we did that, or I had to go find the answer by myself, I felt like that built my critical thinking.
Mhm.
And now I feel like I have diminished critical thinking skills because
Mhm.
now it's all instant gratification by
Yep.
Oh,
using our
absolutely.
phones.
Yep. I
Immediately we can
agree.
get the answers. Like Andrew
Yep.
and I driving down the road, we're listening to a song or we're talking about something. Well, is that person even still alive? Well, back in the day, we would have to wait, I don't know, ask all our friends. Maybe somebody heard about it. There was no way to check
Right.
it. Maybe go
No.
back through what was it they used to do? The microfiche, old
Oh yeah.
newspapers.
Oh
We got
yeah.
our information. Yeah. Mm. All right. So think about something that we never had, our parents never had to tell us screen time ever.
Oh,
Oh
They never said screen time, you only have X
no.
amount. I
Turn
no,
had
TV off.
didn't care.
grandbabies for the last couple of days,
Uh-huh.
and even
Yeah.
then, screen time is a huge thing. Once you got
Yep.
them in the pool, it was all fine, but up to that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
what's your take on finding that healthy limit between screen time and real people time with your kids?
So my kid will be in his bedroom and literally want something to drink and come downstairs with his phone on, listening to something, and it drives me insane.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the phone off, MJ. Turn the phone off. Turn the phone off. You can't come downstairs with your phone. You can't do that.
Right.
So there are rules that we set up, like, no phones at the table. If we're out to dinner, we're all three eating together. There's no
Mhm.
phones. And that's actually, it does happen. And that I really do. I mean, he doesn't even have to be
Mhm.
said to anything to now, and he knows. Um, but it was always that fine line with us. I mean, I have the
It's
youngest
hard.
kid. And it's like, okay, it's a babysitter sometimes when you need to get some work done,
Mhm.
cleaning, whatever, cooking, whatever. But then do they really need it that much? You know what I mean? It's just back and forth. So it's hard. It's a
Yeah,
hard thin line. Mhm.
I agree. How about you, Shelley?
I am thankful. My three were very, very physically active. They played a ton of sports and we did a lot of stuff. Um, so that helped me with that fight of limiting screen time because
Mhm.
they didn't have the opportunity to sit and do it a ton. So I'm thankful for that. But, as they got older and they had a little more say in their activities, it became, all right, here's the deal. Your grades have to be this, like, whatever it was. And it was per kid because I had some kids, we had a couple that if you were getting below a B, we have an issue. Right. And
Right.
then we had a couple that if you had all C's, we were doing really great. So we had to take that into account. But it was like, hey, if your grades all have to be this, and I have to see that all your homework is turned in, and then you can have, however much time, an hour a night or whatever it was. But, you know, I just bought a modem that I had complete control of, and I just turned our internet off. Like their phones shut off after a certain time at night. They can only contact us and each other, like their siblings. And we just turned the internet off because I'm like, I'm not going to fight with you. If you aren't
Yeah.
going to honor what I asked, I'm turning
Yeah.
everything off. I just turned it off.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was good or bad because now my grandkids seem to have it all the time.
So you talked about the gaming system and all that, right? And I know MJ plays some games as well.
Oh
whenever
yeah.
I was young, I was super excited about going to the skating rink, and we got to play on the game systems there, which were,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
games,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Centipede.
Mhm.
I just found some place here in Oklahoma City that has Centipede, which I might be there to play.
Oh,
So
Oh,
you
I
guys come
got
and we'll go down. It'll be fun.
that is
yeah.
so fun.
Anyway, so Miss Pac-Man, I didn't like Miss Pac-Man. I liked
No.
Pac-Man.
Mhm.
Anyway, so all of those things. But then we got it home. What did we have? The very first game system that we ever had.
Atari.
Atari. And we got to play
Oh,
Pong. Pong, Pong. I'm so excited for Pong. I
they're so
loved it. My
neat.
dad and I used to play Atari. But do you think what we did back then kind of evolved in making sure that our children had what we
Oh,
wanted? We
Oh,
oh,
wanted to be able to
absolutely.
play those game systems and
absolutely.
do those
Yeah.
things,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Because it was special.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which we made it very not special, whatever they got,
Correct.
Of course, the
Yep.
Nintendo was good, or the Game
Uh-huh.
Boy, or the whatever, or the
Hmm.
Wii, all those things were great, but then it just went to the extreme.
Right.
Mhm.
When my kids were young, my oldest was in marching band, and he went from liking his game systems to not liking. So he would play them for a couple of months, then he wouldn't play them for months at a time.
Oh,
Maybe play them for a couple of months back and forth. And he's still the same way. Sometimes he likes it, sometimes he doesn't. He buys this one. He's like, I'm gonna sell it. I don't need it. So he's just crazy. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was more of a cell phone person. So as soon as she was able to get
Mm.
that cell phone and start taking pictures and
Mhm.
sending Snapchats, and I guess they weren't Snapchats
And
back
that's
when she
a
was
girl
younger,
thing.
just messages and stuff like that. I think it was more of a girl thing. So it's all about like what it was as far as technology itself. Um, but with that being said about the cell phone, then you start coming up with these other things.
Oh,
So we had, when we were younger, bullies, right? We had those
oh
oh,
people
yeah.
that were just totally jacks. That's it. They were just mean, they were ugly,
Mhm.
but we learned how to deal with it. Like last
yeah.
time
Yep.
we talked about we have tough skin because of the two old guys on the Muppets.
Mhm.
Well, that's exactly what we did. Do you think we have diminished our children's ability to handle that kind of stuff? Because now they're on social media. They're on all
Yeah.
of the
Mhm.
different platforms,
Mhm.
TikTok
Right.
and
Mhm.
whatever. They even had, back when my kids were in school, the secret apps where you could go in.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember what the names of them were, but you would go in, create yourself an account, and then it was basically talking about everybody at school and making fun of this girl or that guy, or sending this picture or that picture of somebody's doing something. Do you feel like we have created kind of a culture of the ability to be the, what do they call it? The keyboard pirate?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, and you first said, did we diminish their ability, to learn to deal with that? And I completely agree. And that a lot of that
Mhm.
goes back to face-to-face personal interaction and sitting and
Mhm.
having to have a conversation with someone, right? Conflict resolution. You learn that by being around people, being with people, not looking at
Right.
them through a screen. And the other thing is, when we were kids, you could get away from them. Yes, they could still run their mouths, they could tell other kids, they could, gossip about you when they were together, but you could remove yourself from the situation. Our kids they're not able to remove themselves because once it's on social media, it's everywhere and it comes at them nonstop. So they
Nonstop.
not only don't have the conflict resolution skills, but now they're faced with it from every direction. Like
Hmm.
it's horrible.
Hmm.
It's horrible.
Mhm.
And we did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. One
We allowed
thing,
it.
and you send it to 20 people, and before you know it, it's 20,000 people.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Like you've seen on TV shows where one girl takes a picture of herself
Hmm.
inappropriately, and she sends it to one person, and then that one person thinks,
Mm,
haha, and sends it out to everybody.
right.
Yeah.
That's a real world thing that happens now.
It
Yeah.
is.
Sure is.
All right. So how would you guide them through all of that? Like how did you, not would you, how did you guide your kids through that? Or are you guiding because you're still guiding yours?
Yeah.
Like
Did
how
you
do you,
have days, Amy or Tammy, do you maybe still have them? Like we had no electronic Sundays. Like it so Their
Yeah.
phones didn't go to church. They could not have electronics on Sundays. We had to read books. We had to go outside. Especially when they were teenagers. Like when they were young, it wasn't an issue. They just went and did it. As
Right.
teenagers, we had to say, no electronic Sunday. You have to make a cut.
Yeah. Well, we've actually had situations, well, across the street, there's a basketball hoop. Down the road is a pond that MJ fishes in. And he has lost his cell phone both places. And we had to go search for it again. So, now we're like, okay, no cell phones. Of course, the pond, it's me keeping track of him, but I said, you keep it in your pocket. You keep it in your pocket. And it's one of those things that it's hard. Again, it's hard to maneuver, and because they can shove it right back in our face. Well, Mom, you have your phone everywhere you go. Well, yeah, I do, but I'm also 56 years old and you are 16.
Right.
So, but yeah. And saying that he can't have it on Sunday, I say he can't have it on certain times, not necessarily, excuse me. I don't know why I yawned right then. Not certain times he can't have it necessarily a whole day, unless he's grounded, and that's like the first thing I take away from him. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We did no electronic vacations too. Even if it was just like a local where we're going overnight, like the kids didn't get their phones. Like you don't need it. This is family time.
Yeah.
It's not going to go. And
Yeah.
and they were okay with it. I mean, my stepsons were not okay with it in the beginning.
Okay.
But then they knew it
Yeah.
had to happen. Mine were okay with it because that's how we always functioned.
Right.
And to this day, they still, like, I think all of them are on their phones way too much, or electronics, especially my boys. But even now to this day, when we're together for every other year as a family, there's a basket. Phones go in it. Their phones stay in their rooms. Like, we're all together. They're like, we don't need our phones.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
think everybody needs to do that, Shelley. I really do.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good.
Yeah, our families are not going to like that. All right. So one of the biggest things that I deal with or have dealt with whenever I'm, parenting is just, why can't they just do what I say? Why can't they just do it this way?
Well, that's just not your kid. That's your husband's too.
A lot of everybody.
The husband, the dog, the cat,
Right. So just because they aren't looking at the things that I think they should, or doing the math the way I think they should, or, that was very simplistic, but just because they're not doing it the way I think it is, it's just one of those things that we have to say, you know what? It's okay. One of the things that we do now, probably way better than our parents ever did, is parent with empathy.
Yeah.
And saying, and I will tell you, I don't know how many times over the last 10, 12, 13 years that Andrew, 12 years we've been together, that I have said this, that I remember when I did that to my parents. And he's like, well, so just knowing, just being able to relate.
Yeah.
Making sure that, and they call it the generational guilt, right?
Yeah.
We were told not to do something and made to feel less than if we did it.
Right.
Our kids do something. Of course, we tell them not to do X, Y, and Z. They still go out and do X, Y, and Z. We talk about what happened afterwards, right?
Yeah. We don't beat their butts like we did.
Yes.
We got.
Sometimes I think we should have, though.
Right? Because then that leads right into the old school values and the modern world. Instill respect, resilience, and responsibility in the digital age. And that's a lot of what our kids aren't learning. They're not learning all those things that if they do this, the consequences are this.
Right.
Like, I had a sign at one time in one of my classrooms whenever I taught that said, you're free to make choices, but not free from your consequences. So whatever choice you make, there's going to be a consequence. It can be a good one, you get a straight A's, or it can be a bad one, you get F's. I don't care. It's all about your choices, right? Anyway, so if
I think we lack that. We lack a lot about talking about the consequences. Like, I hear people tell their kids all the time, like, make better choices. Well, why? Like, explain that to them. Give them the thought process. Like, because your choices have consequences. Like, I don't think we have those conversations enough anymore.
Mm-mm.
So,
Yeah.
personal opinion.
No, I agree. Now, let me ask you this because I know every one of us has done this. Whenever you were younger and your parents did X, Y, or Z, you said, I will never do that to my kids. How many of you wish you could go back to that person and just smack them across the face and say, yes, you
Yeah,
will?
that's probably everybody that's listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Even my oldest daughter has called me. She's the one with my grandbabies. She's called me and apologized multiple times. I am so sorry, Mom. I am so sorry, Mom. And her oldest is 7. So it's not like she's like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, no, she hasn't done all the things. Wait till you get to the teenage years. Yep.
Yes.
Tell me you're sorry again
Exactly.
then.
Mhm.
But you know what? That goes back to those conversations of consequences, right? Because
Yeah.
our decisions don't just affect
Yeah.
us. The outcome of our decisions
Yeah.
don't just affect us as individuals. It affects all of those that are closest to us and that are involved with that.
Right.
And it sucks and it's hard. Like, but gosh darn it, we need to have those conversations.
Mhm.
We sure do. All right. So is there one funny thing? This will be the last thing. One funny thing that your parents ever did that you said, I will never do.
Oh,
And it doesn't have to be
So
funny.
I know.
It could be ironic that you decided to go ahead and do it.
So what gets me is my dad, he was all about, I mean, he was 82 when he died, so he would have been 85, 86 right now. So never waste food. And literally, we could not get up from the table without eating everything on our plate. Well, that is also probably the reason why I am overweight. I've been overweight all my life. So and seriously, I have never done that. I've never done that to MJ ever because I know the real struggle with that, you
Right.
know. You use portion control. It's not really, I mean, it is kind of funny when you think about it. Don't you get up until all that food's gone, you know. So it's just
There's starving kids down in
yes,
Africa or
yes.
wherever. Yeah.
Well,
But I
and
have said that to my son though, is that there's starving kids out here and you don't appreciate this food. It was something that, and it's hardly ever with MJ because he eats everything. But yeah.
But your dad would have been raised by people that lived through the Depression, you know,
Right.
and so it was hard to come by. And so they
Right.
raised him with that mentality, which turns into
Mhm.
because we as humans, we can't step back and go, wait a minute, why do I say this? What in my life, what in my upbringing makes me react this way? Like,
Right.
is this healthy? We don't
Yeah.
take a moment and have that introspective whatever occasionally, you know, we're like, we just do what we're taught or how we react
Yeah.
to what
Yeah.
we're taught. It's crazy.
So Shelley, do you have anything that your parents ever did that you swore you would never do and you did it anyway?
I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
one
I just
earlier.
can't think.
I know. I'm like, I don't.
I was never going to lose my temper with my children ever. Ever.
Oh.
Never going to raise my voice.
Oh
And
boy.
I didn't
That
whenever they were babies. Whenever they were
right.
in middle school, I still didn't. It's when they got to high school. That's whenever I
School's the
started
worst.
losing my
That's really
temper.
good. That's
Yeah.
really good. I
Yeah.
hardly ever raise my voice with MJ, but when I do, he better watch out.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
yeller. I yell a lot. Just
Yeah.
my parents, like my parents did. They've yelled.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mom, not my dad, my mom.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Funny.
Still nothing there, Shelley. That's all right. We'll
I'm
just
like, I mean, I'm sure there's stupid stuff that.
yeah. So we're just going to end the podcast with everybody knowing that Shelley is a much better parent than we are.
Oh, no. If my children are listening to this, you are not allowed to put comments about
I can't
how
wait to
awful
see
I
the
was.
comments.
No.
That's what I need
Don't
to
get to
see.
do that.
I need to see those comments.
We were recording the other day, not too long ago, about one of ours, and Andrew, whenever I had walked out of the office, he's like, Quapaw. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, Quapaw is where BJ Honeycutt's father-in-law lives, Quapaw, Oklahoma. Because I couldn't
Oh,
stick my
that's
head in there
hilarious.
to tell you.
That's
And he
hilarious.
listens to us religiously, so he is
Oh,
our to everything.
I love
nice.
it.
Thanks,
So-
Andrew.
Love it.
I
Thanks,
honestly don't
Andrew.
know if my husband does or not. I have not asked him.
He
I know he
listens
listened
to
to a
us on his
couple,
walk.
but I don't remind him. I
No.
should put a reminder in his phone for Thursday mornings when the podcast comes out and say, yeah, I should do one. I should do an obnoxious alarm on his phone so that he goes and listens to the podcast.
That would be funny.
That would be awesome. Make sure you do it for this one when it airs.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Then he'll know it was premeditated.
Right.
All right, guys, we thank you for joining us for this episode of our wild and beautiful journey. And all we ask is if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and subscribe. We would love to be able to entertain you some more. But until next time, have an amazing day. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.